As we start a new school year, what's on everyone's mind is establishing rules in the classroom for students. But this year I'd like to challenge you with a different way of approaching it. Typically, rules are decided by the teacher and imposed on students. But what happens in this case is that students, they already know the rules, and so they're less willing to kind of follow along and adhere to those rules because they haven't had any hand in determining what those rules should be. So I would like to challenge you to invite your students into this process of determining the rules and establishing what we like to call a code of cooperation. By inviting students into this process, they are more likely to follow the rules along with you. One of the ways to establish this code of cooperation is by playing a game called Four Corners. Essentially what you're going to do is, as the teacher, create a list of sort of rules that you think need to be addressed within the classroom. Just write them as statements. Things like students should be allowed to talk whenever they like. So you're going to write up 4 different cards, one that says strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and strongly agree. And then you're going to place these cards, one in each corner of the room. When you have students in the classroom then, you're going to read out your statements and have the students pick the corner of the room that best fits their feelings about the statement that you've made. So for example, when you have read out to them, students should be able to talk whenever they want. Well, now they have to decide, do I strongly disagree with that? Do I agree with that? And they are going to end up choosing that corner of the room to represent their answer. From there, you're going to be able to have a discussion with the students, get their thoughts and their viewpoints on the issue of speaking out in class. When is it appropriate? When isn't it? And let them sort of discuss and work out amongst themselves and come to a resolution between them. Once you have done this with each of the statements that you have previously thought up, then invite one of your students to be a scribe, and then on a board or a chart paper, just have that student record, with the help of all of the class, the wording of how each of these statements now should be written. And in the end, you will have your code of cooperation. The final step then would be to have each of the students come and sign this agreement. And by doing so, they are all saying that they are going to abide by these rules. And what ends up happening is that often the students will begin holding each other accountable, and you as the teacher won't have to be the manager of these rules anymore. This strategy speaks to profound learning in a way that it's using one of our elements called shifting roles. By shifting roles, the teacher is giving the student more choice and more voice in the classroom, where the students are having a little more control over how things should be run. And in this way, the students are more likely to buy into any of the rules that are being imposed on them.